Free beer and hot wings in the morning. Grand Rapids rocks all day. 97.9 GRD rocks.
Partly cloudy, humid today. Some scattered showers and thunderstorms still a possibility. 84 the high. It's about 73. 75 now downtown GR. We talked about this a couple times earlier today. The woman whose boyfriend, who started that big apartment fire in Holland, is back on the hook for up to $2 million in damage, according to the Court of Appeals ruling. The earlier ruling limited Barbara Pello's damages to $15,421. Her boyfriend is the one that used a torch to burn the fur off a squirrel while on an apartment deck at the apartments. He planned to cook the squirrel. That is...
Dude.
I mean, that story was cited nationally as like the greatest white trash moment or the worst white trash.
Yeah, that is real neck.
At that point, you just give up, right?
Yeah.
You just plan on never having money ever again.
Yeah, which probably in the ballpark anyway.
Yeah.
Damaged 32 units in the building. An insurance company, Travelers Indemnity Company, paid more than $2 million in repair costs. They want the money back for that. They're saying that that's how it goes.
I mean, though that it isn't, well, no, that was against their lease. They shouldn't have been cooking the squirrel with a blowtorch on the wooden deck. I was going to say that's what insurance is for, but not to protect against idiocy. Well, not that type of idiocy.
The judges said the case is nothing more than a breach of contract case, and she is not immune to joint and several liability because a guest caused the fire. She voluntarily signed the lease agreement that called for her to be held liable for fire and water damage caused by herself or any guest. Boy, that's one of those things where, do you read the fine print in your apartment? I would have signed that.
Yeah.
Well, anyone would, because you wouldn't assume that you would cause a blaze.
Right.
Yeah, true.
Particularly by roasting a squirrel on the deck.
I have never seen a picture of either of these two, and I would love to check it out to see if they look as much like Jed Clampett and Granny as I think they do.
Oh, no, I'm sure they look like prom king and queen, these two.
1-800-947-3979. Joe, you told us about a sale that's coming up. Is that this weekend?
It's today.
It's today. It's right now. And in
It's a big
2
old
minutes.
narco auction.
Okay. Is it online?
No. You have to go to the Cadillac State Police Post.
Well, this is not going to work out.
Well, it's not going to work out for us.
You can see a list
but-
of the auction items at the website.
Dude, they've got
Which website?
everything. HowerAuctions.com. But if you go to MLive, they have an article titled "Police Narcotics Team to Auction Off Seized Boats and Guns."
So there are
cars.
like all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
You know, it's not really that different than the one that we talked about a couple of weeks ago for like Oakland County on the other side of the state, except that wasn't purely narcotics.
This is awesome. I would love to go to one of these.
I've never been to an auction like this. I've been to auctions before, but not cool stuff like this.
I think it'd be fun to go to auctions. I've never been to an auction where I had any intention of bidding on something.
I bought a couple cool things at auctions before.
What did you buy?
I bought a clock, which doesn't sound cool, but
You
it was
said cool, and then you said clock.
And then we got very lucky one time. We bought a globe. It looked old, and we thought, that it looked cool, but we didn't think much about it. We bought it for $50 and sold it for $500.
What?
Wow.
Who did? You have an auction partner?
My ex-girlfriend. My ex-girlfriend years ago. And we had bought it in an auction in Tennessee, and then we moved to Pennsylvania.
Oh, hell yeah.
Both of us thought, based on the markings, that it was fairly old. I mean, you could tell just by the countries alone that were on it, where you go, okay, well, this looks like it must be from like
Pangea.
like 1910 or something.
It's just a clump.
I think it had the Ottoman Empire or something on it, and you just go, this seems old. And so we contacted like some local map place in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and he goes, I think that's pretty rare. And it turned out it was, and we sold it to him.
Do you think you get good deals on all of this stuff? Because I'm looking.
Yeah,
at it.
I think you can get really good deals on some stuff. I mean, if something is sought after, where everyone's going to want it, if it's a really good, relatively recent car, you're going to get a lot of people that'll bid on that.
Well, what about this lot of shoes? Could someone buy me these basketball shoes, please? If they're 10.5, if somebody wants to make a bid, I will. I mean, I don't want somebody else's gross shoes.
And then how about
Yeah, I
all
mean,
of
some
these
of the ATVs
guns?
and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I bet you those are some great guns.
Boy, if I was a
Probably.
drug dealer
It's a
and I
double-barrel
needed
shotgun.
and I needed some guns, shoes, TVs, and minivans, this would be the perfect place to get them at.
Yeah.
I wonder if anybody's ever gone to one of these and picked stuff up. Like
I'd
all these,
love to know.
I'm sure
like
a
you said,
lot
all
of
these
people have.
flat screen. Do you get like really good deals, or is it?
Well, I think you can get really good deals. I mean, it just depends on if anybody else is there that wants to get it. I'm not sure what kind of a minimum they put on things. They may put some sort of a minimum. Like I'm looking at a Chrysler 300 here, and I don't know how many miles is on it, but it looks like it's in good shape. I doubt if they're going to sell it for $200. There's got to be a minimum of some sort on that.
I want the Yamaha Raptor,
But maybe
I want
not.
that too. They have.
I don't have
canoes,
anywhere to keep it or to use it.
I wouldn't care.
And these,
I've always wanted to go back to an auction. I never have. I've got to do that. They are fun, even just to watch other people sometimes bid on stuff when there's bidding wars going on different things. And
Why don't we do a hot wing stunt where you go, and then each of us gets to say bid at a random time, and you have to raise your hand on
Love
whatever
it.
the item is and whatever the price is.
I love
that
it.
sounds great, and you can give me the money for it.
No.
That's not a very can-do attitude. That's a very can-don't
No, that's
attitude.
a can do. That's definitely can do. I can go. I can put my hand up, and I can use your money to buy you something
I'm not
stupid.
the one who said I wanted to go buy things.
Yeah, well, we get to keep the rowboat if you win it then.
Yep.
There's probably
Absolutely.
someone either there who, well, no, they can't hear us right now there, but there's probably someone headed up to it. Maybe you have to get there early. Maybe there's no
I mean,
one
it's not
at
that
this point.
It's not that big of an auction. I mean, not really. Some of these auctions are massive. I mean, you're talking like pages upon pages of vehicles and equipment and things like that. This one, they got some decent stuff, but it's not like the biggest auction in the world.
When we were kids, unfortunately, everybody was losing their farms, so they would have these farm auctions where,
You talked about that.
when somebody passed away and their kids weren't going to keep the family homestead or whatever, but it would either be farm equipment, a little bit of furniture, and then they always called it the jewelry wagon. But it was never jewelry. It was just it was always like a flatbed, like hay wagon.
Yeah.
And then it was every odd and end from the garage, tool shed, barn, and everywhere else. So
Okay.
it might be, all right, who wants to buy this skill saw? And then, and it would take forever. And I'd be a kid and I'd see like one toy on the wagon. And my dad would be like, all right, if we're still here when that goes up for bid, then I'll bid on it for you. Like, oh,
You were never there, were you?
no, those kids, they never picked them up. It's like, oh, God, another set of bolt cutters? How many did this guy have?
Yeah.
But then when my grandpa and grandma passed away, they had an auction.
And you got all the toys.
No, and it was I realized how horrible that was.
Yeah.
For the families to, even though,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't even lose it because of financial hardship. Just there was no one that wanted to buy the whole thing. And
Right.
so
I mean,
the
nobody
kids
wants
were
all that. There's a lot of junk, really.
But just horrific emotional scarring. To
I'm
watch,
sure.
Someone's life comes down to 4 hours of an auctioneer selling stuff to the highest bidder.
Yeah,
It's a sad way.
And at that age, like you said, you have no idea. You just know that like Timmy's coming to school with no shoes and a burlap sack from now on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then his sister's going to wear that for Sadie Hawkins, and it's going to be super hot.
Yeah. I mean, you just never know how that's going to work out.
Oh, and she's desperate. Family's got no money.
Oh, yeah. It's time
Young
for a sugar
entrepreneur,
daddy.
free beer.
And she didn't have confidence. She never looked up in the hallway.
Yeah.
She didn't know how hot she was.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. She had dirt on her face. You had to get rid of that. You had
Yeah.
to look below the dirt.
Yeah, before you knew it, though, you found out that she was all that.
You could see her soft features.
It's like we just wrote a Brooks and Dunn song.
Or an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One or the
depends.
other. It's the Chili Peppers Soul to Squeeze, 97.9 GRD Rocks.